Cook with me for my in-laws whilst we have a hearty chit-chat in my kitchen about topics that pique my interest in our beloved South Asian culture. On today's menu, we have Pepe's peri-peri chicken and rice and garlic mayo, the viral Turkish doner kebab with a side of salad, birria-filled corn tacos with a spicy consomme, cheesy sweet potato slices, and a nice big tray of some crispy cubed Christmas veggie roasties. So I've been living with my in-laws for 10 years, and over the time I've really let myself experiment in the kitchen. I really enjoy cooking and I love having my in-laws around to cook for. My husband is Bengali and I'm Pakistani, so obviously our marriage was not arranged. In fact, if anything, people on both sides of our family were really concerned if this kind of union would work out, especially since there has been conflict with our country since the beginning of history. However, we put our differences to the side and we made it work. But sometimes I look back and I think, what if I had married some rishta from my family, which my mum suggested? I really didn't want an arranged marriage. I wanted to make my own decisions and be responsible for my choice, even if it meant there was a risk it didn't work. But for some people, allowing your family/parents to choose for you is not a bad idea, especially if your families have been friends since the start and you know them and they're good people who will look after you. I think my biggest issue with my parents choosing my spouse is I didn't want to hold them accountable if my spouse turned out to be someone I wasn't happy with. I find that a lot of people in unhappy arranged marriages feel like it's not their fault if their spouse turns out to be an incompetent partner and will then blame their parents. And yes, it's true. If your parents pick an incompetent spouse, then you have to blame them because they did the screening process for you and you trusted them to make that choice. And I also believe if your parents pick the wrong person, then they have to help you. For instance, if they choose a man who can't financially support you, then they should then support you financially because they made that decision on your behalf. However, because I did choose my spouse, consequently, I can't go to my family for help all the time because I chose my husband and went against what they felt was best for me. Which means this is something I believe I have to take responsibility for. However, even then, my parents have helped me so much throughout my marriage, even when they didn't have to, and for that, I am eternally grateful. There's no such thing as the perfect spouse, and the more marriages you look into, the more you realize people are compromising on something. You marry someone, they have some flaws which you dislike, so you leave them and find someone else who doesn't have those flaws. But then that person has other flaws and you still have problems, but different problems. And you have to decide now which problems in a spouse you would rather live with. So when screening for a spouse, look for someone with ideal attributes, but also look at potential downsides. Are you happy living with the potential problems you've chosen? In my case, my potential red